Life can sometimes be like a ride on a roller coaster, with its ups and downs and twists and turns. The stress of daily life requires a natural way to relax, a way to maintain balance, a method to stay calm in the midst of life's storms. Yoga instructor for women of color, Nazaahah Amin, reflects on why she chose yoga.
I got into yoga over 15 years ago, trying to find a way to just have a stress relief outlet. I was a junior in college. I had a lot of stressors I was an art major, so I had a lot of projects, a lot of deadlines. So I was really looking for that relief that was there. Throughout the years, as my life has shifted, as I've gone through different ups and downs, different challenges, different things that grew me, I found myself back on my mat. So there were times when I stepped away and I needed to come back. As the years went on, it has evolved into a healing practice for me. It doesn't just relieve me from the stress of the day, but the healing that it brings to whatever ailment I may be going through physically, mentally, and emotionally. When I get on that mat, I'm connected back to me, back to my purpose, back to who I am. And also, as it has evolved, I realized that I want to bring that healing experience to women, specifically women of color, as there are so much we need to heal from, so much systemic things, so much intergenerational things, so much ancestral health and issues that we need to heal from. And I bring that out to the women of color and just women in my practices. We do yoga in the park because of all of this, because of the sounds of the crickets, because of the birds flying overhead, because of the water and the breezes and the people and the connection. When we were first created, we were human. This was our homes. We were right here. We didn't have all these houses and high rises and everything. We were here. We were here. And when it's always good to come back to that as we get to see our original nature, which is just to be in nature. And yoga in the parks is just a beautiful experience of that. It gets you out of your home, out of your normal routine, and back on earth. A lot of times in our practice, we take our shoes off, we'll be right on the grass, not even on the mat, so on a towel, right on the grass, so we can feel that connection of the grass, of the earth, of this, just being one. Just being one. So yoga in the parks is very beautiful, and it just gives you in a nice, serene space. Yoga in the parks was started by PG Parks, Prince George's County Parks in Maryland. It was started approximately 3 years ago when it was a love for yoga in this county and in this area, and they wanted to really bring it to people on a consistent basis, especially to people who may not always have access to classes. And in DC area, you can get a class from $25 sometimes just for one session. And they really wanted to offer it just for the community. And in this particular park at Lake Artemisia, it's amazing here because we have people from all different backgrounds, all different ethnicities, and all different shapes and sizes that come to this practice. It's really, really open. I have noticed lots of students who have progressed in their class, and even if it's not their physical body, that they've been able to get into the poses a little deeper, I've seen just the calm within them when they may have started practice, especially some of my people who, like the seasoned people who may be like over 50 or 60 years old. I see them kind of come in and maybe look around and see maybe like a college kid or a younger, a teenager, and see how like maybe their bodies were a little slimmer and maybe they were a little more flexible. But I see them kind of be like a little self-conscious at first, but as the weeks have gone on, I've seen them become more into their body and their personal practice by just breathing, by just being patient and just going at their own pace. So I've seen actually a slowdown in people, which has been a great progression in their practice, not trying to compete, but trying to do with what's best for their body. And some of my other students, I've seen them be a little more confident in their poses and not really falling out of them as much. And if they do, it's fine, but really being confident where they are in their body and in their practice. So it's been a great progression. We've been here for about 2 months, about 8 weeks, and I've definitely seen a progression over these Saturdays. I would say that yoga is for everybody and anybody. You don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to have a certain bank account. You don't have to have a certain spiritual background. That it's for any and everybody. And yoga is not just the poses. A lot of times we see on Instagram and Facebook and throughout magazines that all we think of yoga is just the physical poses, which are called the asana. It's not just that. There are many, many variations of yoga, many styles, many limbs of yoga, and one of them is meditation. So if what you can do in your practice is to meditate, spend a few moments, mindful moments of quiet, of reflection, that's practicing yoga. Living a life where you try not to harm others, that's ahimsa. That's another part of the practice. Just trying to be the best version of yourself is living yoga. You don't have to be able to bend over backwards to say, I'm doing yoga. That's not all it encapsulates. It's so many different variations, so many forms. Do what feels best for your body. And know that if you are kind of scared to start a practice, or like, I'm not flexible, my mind won't be quiet, that means you need to come even more. Don't let that deter you because you may be of a certain age or of a certain body type, or maybe even have a physical disability. Do not let that deter you. Still come out, still do a practice, and modify. Do what feels good for you. And know that the ultimate goal of yoga is to connect your mind, your body, and your spirit together. So in any way that you're doing it in your life, you are living yoga. If someone wants to reach out to me, you can come to my website, nazaahamin.com, www.nazaahahahaamin.com. And on there, I share videos, I have a blog, I have different polls, and also different free resources as well, specifically geared towards women of color, but it's also open to anybody that wants a little more peace and a little more connection into their life. I'm also on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, at Nazaahah Amin.
Rodney Ladson reporting for The Mirror, keydigitalmedia.com.